And we are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us. Now, y'all, do you remember this back and forth between Byron Donalds and Mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu? Take a quick look at this because this is going to factor in to the story from today.
Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city services.
You don't ask about how much money the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration? Are you out of your mind? We don't distinguish
between immigration status.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep our city safe.
Mayor Wu, do you manage your budget or not?
We have the numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston, just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
of the city of
Boston.
Is sick of having people outside Boston telling us.
Now, y'all remember there, she said, hey, we don't have numbers. We don't keep track of how much we spend on this group and on that group. We just lump them all in together. Well, there are some numbers for the state of Massachusetts, which I presume includes the city of Boston, which is inside of the state. Probably one of the biggest expenditures, one of the biggest receivers of state money is Boston, I'd imagine. And it looks like the state of Massachusetts, they know their numbers. They spent over $700 million. That's what data shows on shelters housing migrants. Now take a look at this, shelter by the numbers. You can pause on that and take a look at that if you like. Now here it says that the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey's administration has spent more than $700 million just this fiscal year, people, on taxpayer-funded shelters housing migrants and local families, even as the number of households in shelter dropped below 5,000 last week. The total the Healey administration has spent on the emergency system program through last week is still short of the $1 billion projected for the fiscal year that ends July 1st. But the cash shuttled to the shelters through mid-April was still far above historical norms. Now, y'all gotta understand, I did a little bit of research, and Massachusetts is the only state that I could find that has what's called a right to shelter. So you have a right to shelter.
Tonight, we are taking an in-depth look at an old law getting new attention because of the wave of migrant families in Massachusetts.
Now, we are the only state with a right to shelter law, and it's a big reason why there are more than 6,000 families total in shelters and in hotels. And in 1983, Dukakis signed what's known now as the right to shelter law. It guaranteed emergency housing to homeless families and pregnant women. In defining eligibility, it said a resident was any person in the Commonwealth, even if they didn't intend on staying. But a person who comes here solely for the benefits would not be considered a resident.
Now, I've gone on record many times. I said, look, Massachusetts is cold. So I've gone on records many times. I've said, you do not want to leave people outside to freeze. But now, now I'm seeing the results, the consequences of my proclamations. I did not know Massachusetts already had like a right to shelter. And now we're seeing that it costs $1 billion when you tell the whole world, hey, come on over here, we'll give you shelter. Now I see that it cost you $1 billion to make that happen.
Proof of legal status and new residency requirements are among some of the changes that Governor Healey wants to see in the state's overwhelmed right to shelter system. The governor released her plan today, but as WBZ's Tammy Mutasa shows us, her critics say it is long overdue.
Tonight, more than a year into the migrant crisis, GOP leaders say it's about time for changes to the right to shelter law. But advocates are disappointed, worried about the impact to families in need.
I'm hoping that, my colleagues on both sides of the aisle will see this is not sustainable and we cannot continue going down the path that we're going down.
The criticism has been mounting over public safety at our state's shelters amid an influx of migrants and after several violent incidents of sexual assault, drugs, and weapons at emergency shelters.
A majority of the money spent this fiscal year, or $537 million, has been used for direct shelter payment to house homeless families with children and pregnant women under the state's decades-old right to shelter law, according to the data update on April 17th. The Healey administration spent another $77 million in fiscal year 2025 on HomeBASE, a program that helps people in shelters find stable housing by subsidizing their first and last month's rent, security deposit, broker's fee, and monthly rent payment for up to 2 years.
For decades, the state has mainly used traditional shelters. The stats we got, which start in 2009, show after the financial crisis, about 2,000 homeless families were provided emergency housing. That number grew steadily long before the influx of migrants. Now check out the hotel numbers. In 2009, there were 650 families in hotels. 2 years ago, it was less than a dozen. But now watch the numbers from last January until now. From the questions and...
Y'all, what are we going to do? I mean, closing the border, securing the border was certainly a great first step. We need to expand and make more robust our legal immigration processes, y'all. People should be able to visit the United States. People should be able to come to the United States and work temporarily. People should be able to form families internationally and reunify their families in our country. All done legally, step by step, just like we did it in my family. Just like millions of other families have done it, just like millions of other workers have done it, right? I want to hear what y'all think. Do you think Mayor Wu was being honest? How do they know the numbers for the state of Massachusetts if Boston can't tell them, if Boston doesn't know their numbers, right? How can Massachusetts know their numbers if Boston is going to tell the state, hey, we don't know? Right? Or am I missing something? Am I suffering from a logic fail? Y'all let me know in the comments, please. Before you do, though, or after, at some point during this little brief time we're spending together, please do hit the share button. Share this video out with somebody through email, Facebook, WhatsApp, text message, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social mediums. I want to thank y'all for watching today. You know we love y'all, so if you're not a subscriber, please join the fam and subscribe, and we'll see you back in the next one.
Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because I don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing
which
mayor.
is
Mayor
the same
Adams,
number that was sent from us from the state of Texas.
How much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already asked you. You don't have a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about how much money the city of Boston has spent on illegal immigration? Are you out of your mind?
Between immigration status.
Do you manage your budget or not, Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage your budget or
We have the
not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of
Boston,
Boston, just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
the city
of
of Boston
the city of
is
Boston.
sick of having
I'm reclaiming
people
my
outside
time.
Boston
Mr.
telling
Bear,
us what
Mr.
we
Bear, I
need.
have a question for you because I understand.